Are Lothern Skycutters sailing pretty in tides of Torment? Do we like the cut of your jib? That's the question. This new unit presents itself as an air chariot, and people have piled on new complaints to the existing standard ones about chariots, so I want to make a fair analysis. Let's begin with the standard model. Recruited for 1150 gold and 288 upkeep, on ultra scale that's 4 cutters, with 6,152 health between them. Armor is 80, no special resistances, leadership a decent 70, speed 90, charge speed 110, but these are flying figures and will be reduced a third while on the ground. Melee attack begins at 30, attack interval the standard 4 seconds, in pitched melee, splash target size large, as in not very large, which means that trolls on down sustain splash and max target splashed is never more than 3. Melee defense begins at 26. Weapon strength of 54 is with base 36 and armor piercing 18, so it's 2/3 base, 1/3 AP. There is no bonus versus type. Charge bonus begins at 60, which is certainly decent, and mass is 1700. There is a missile component to the standard model. Ammunition begins at 25, range is 140 meters, which is a lot of Army's long archer range. Missile strength is rated 109, and the missiles, but not the melee attacks, are magical attack and bypass physical resistance. Each individual arrow does base 18 and armor piercing 11 per hit, 3 shots per volley, reload time 8 seconds. So this feels a lot like Tyrannok chariots. Total accuracy begins at 30, calibration distance of 120 meters means it's not extra inaccurate for a long distance, but calibration area 5.3 meters is shockingly high, meaning it will spray infantry units fine, but expecting pinpoint targeting of human-sized foot characters is likely to end in disappointment. Now, as total accuracy rises, it will help with that. Ogre Tyrants? It's another story about that spread. There is no multi-target penetration effect. The unit can fly, fire whilst moving, has 360-degree fire, and uses the martial prowess mechanic, so it has melee attack +2 and melee defense +12 until... And this is very important because it's changed from older times. The unit is below 25%, 1/4 of its health. 75% of its total strength must be gone to lose the bonus. The stats are balanced around this to some extent, but it's still unusually high melee defense for chariots. On the other hand, lack of a fat bonus versus infantry impairs it in such pitched combat. Momentum is a passive ability that applies when charging at a sufficiently high speed. It's probably harder to use with tired chariots. Benefits are as shown. Let's look at the bolt throwers. Recruited for 1400 gold and 350 upkeep, a step up, all the melee stats are 100% identical, so let's skip straight to range. Ammunition 16 is 9 less. Range 250 is 110 more, and each bolt does base 20 and armor piercing 90 per perforation. There is a bonus versus large of 30 that applies purely to damage, split along the same ratio. Artillery trajectory implies there's no shield, short of ballistic plating, that will stop this. Reload time 9, total accuracy 50, where the norm is 20, calibration distance 200 meters means it's not especially inaccurate until the last 25% of its base range. Calibration area 4 meters means that the groupings are naturally tighter. Large penetration cap, max targets penetrated after the first of 2 only. This means that you can penetrate larger targets and, in my experience, the perforated targets can be a longer distance between each other if they are infantry. And this, too, is a fire whilst moving unit, which makes things interesting, though that's in a frontal cone, a very long cone. I'm sure you're wondering, if it's a bolt thrower, does it have a multi-shot mode? Yes, actually it does. The in-game stats say base 2 armor piercing 6 damage with a bonus versus infantry of 11, meaning that this mode does nearly triple its normal damage if against infantry, 75% of which pierces armor. Range is 250 again. Reload skill is probably a typo. Shots per volley 1, but number of projectiles 16. There are no other stats from in-game, but I expect any multi-target penetration would be no better than small, and the performance is easy to see from the video itself. Let's move on. In the Redline skills, Bowmaster provides plus 20% ammunition to Skycutters, but provides no other benefits at 3 pips. The Skycutters, which are called that in the tech tree and under Bowmaster, show icons under Vanguard Master, but their name is not mentioned in the benefits, and as of publication, I could not confirm if any of these benefits apply. Could someone in the comments say? CA will no doubt clarify or correct in future hotfixes. I'll continue. At rank 7 and up, favorable winds, which governs archers, etc., would provide armor plus 10, missile strength plus 12%, and missile resistance plus 15%. But the tech tree, patch 7.0.2, at least has inconsistencies with Total War Planner, so I'm snipping from in-game. Call the Great Herds as plus 8% speed to chariots and Skycutters. Hardwood construction builds on what chariots get, mild pun, for armor plus 10 and melee defense plus 5. The rest is in the hosts section. Cartridge ammunition, which was always epic for bolt throwers, provides ammunition plus 20% and reload time reduction 10%. Chariot Anthems provides plus 10% unit mass, but the other benefit, Devastating Flanker, is for the other chariots, not this one. And that's amazing for the other chariots, mind you, but let's continue. Enchanted Projectiles enables Shield Breaker for both variants of Skycutter and Missile Strength plus 10% besides. Craft Logistics gives Global Recruitment slots plus 1, always great, and Global Recruitment duration minus 1 turns for the Skycutter units. So how do we use Skycutters? The reason for walking you through these redline and tech skills, besides the edutainment factor, is to paint a larger picture. Those underwhelmed with the unit's combat performance in charges are not seeing that this is first and foremost a missile chariot unit, one that flies, is high speed, has 80 armor in its worst default state, and can also do charges and melee once its missiles are exhausted, or when a great opportunity presents itself. The default unit is 360-degree fire whilst moving in the air, and the bolt thrower is fire whilst moving in a long frontal cone. Both can get Shield Breaker later on, which means they are support units for archer stacks. Just don't get them shot by your own side in the process. Total aside, I just noticed Total War Planner is using the Sea Patrol text for Aceling. Call the Great Herds is as it says on the website, but for other factions, that tech is different. That sort of stuff has been part of the Chaos Post update, the Ruinous Powers hard at work. Anyway, point is, when I get a unit like this, 1. My eyes light up like the Vault Hunters ending up post-teleport in the back of Marcus's shop and robbing it blind. 2nd, if the unit was as good as the melee chariots while being a flying, armored, martial prowess using chariot with superior speed, why would you be using anything else ever? They have to make it have some shortcoming or it would be ridiculously overpowered. Point being, they are superb for softening the enemy up at the start of a battle, and since they're this fast, and way beyond the ability of normal missile troops to handle in melee, they can split an enemy force apart, have their pick of charges and melee fights, and even if they're not the best at that, they're good enough. Seriously, they are good enough. This is with 0 buffing, 0 support, and they'll even potshot while in melee combat or charges if they are the base model. I didn't bother checking, but the bolt throwers are probably inflicting the artillery morale penalties that were stripped from the Dread Saurian and Ancient Stegodon Howdas, which I don't find unfair, by the way, being fear and terror units regardless. This means these units are supremely flexible, and while I don't feel you will win battles with them alone, that's too high a standard for anyone but the right kind of solitary spellcaster with 100 wins to work with, like a Lore of Fire Pyromaniac. You are getting a lot. You pay a price for it, but it's not insane for the faction. So long as you have an army to support, I think you'll do great. Take care and have fun shooting up your enemies before cutting through the weakened masses. The sky, the enemy formation, what's the diff?